It is that time of the year again. It is the day after Boxing Day, and it is the period at which we start to see relentless headlines about the so-called Boxing Day bounce that we see wheeled out every single year. And the reason I want to talk about it this year is there are buyers and sellers at the moment over the Christmas period making big decisions about their life as we move into 2024. Are they going to buy a house? Are they going to sell a house? Are they going to do both? Are they going to be patient? And they're going to see headlines like this from places like Rightmove and then the numerous media outlets that will just parrot this without any type of scrutiny or actually explaining what it means. And these potential buyers or sellers or patient people may make the wrong decision because this isn't as clear cut as the headline suggests. So let's dive into the Boxing Day bounce and find out what it really means for the housing market and potentially what it means for the housing market in 2024. So firstly, let me blow this up. This is a press release from Rightmove, as you can probably guess from the logo in the top left corner. And look at this headline: Boxing Day bounce sees record number of sellers come to market. Now, before I even get into the article, this is a very positive headline, right? And the date today is the 27th of December 2023. It is the day after Boxing Day. The Boxing Day bounce sees record number of sellers come to market. And do you know when this was released? The 20th of December. 7 days ago, they released this headline. Now, yes, it's very likely to be accurate what they're saying in terms of there's going to be more new listings on Boxing Day based on what's happened in the previous years. But just to declare this as fact before it's even happened is certainly misleading if you ask me. So let's dive into a few paragraphs of text, and then I've got a few more pieces of stuff I want to show you so you can draw your own conclusions from what the Boxing Day bounce actually means. So as the year comes to a close, many people put their moving plans on hold to get ready for Christmas. And we've seen this in December as the number of listings on Rightmove actually started to fall for the first time in 2023 over the past month or so. But by Boxing Day, we start to see a flurry of activity from home movers. Now, technically, it's not from Boxing Day because a lot of what is happening on Boxing Day is from what was agreed in the weeks leading up to Boxing Day. Estate agents that have said to new listings, oh, let's not publish it until Boxing Day, or they've gone to existing listings and said to them, let's do your price cut on Boxing Day, let's not do it too early. So if you've been looking for a home to buy, you're likely to find you've got more to choose from by the 26th of December. Now, if you go back to the core supply and demand argument that people like to use about house prices, if supply is going up, that should mean that prices are going to come down, right? But obviously, we spoke about supply and demand before and how that is just only one metric in a much bigger puzzle. Last year, we saw a record number of new homes listed for sale the day after Christmas. And again, I have issues with this because it's not as if people have just decided on Boxing Day to list their home. This is just a backlog of new listings from the past few weeks that the estate agents have collated together and then released on Boxing Day as they know that is when there is the most interest on the Rightmove website, with many sellers planning ahead to get their homes ready to be brought to market in time to capture the new wave of buyer interest from Boxing Day and into the new year. So effectively, Rightmove are just confirming what I just said is that some sellers were planning ahead, but really it's estate agents planning ahead and saying and advising their sellers, which is actually rare to see estate agents give them reasonably good advice, to wait until Boxing Day so that they appear at the top of the search results on Boxing Day. If you publish a week before Christmas, and you're going to get pushed right down when all those new listings appear on Boxing Day. In 2022, the number of homes brought to market by estate agents on Boxing Day nearly tripled, so up 173% compared to 2019 when the pandemic began, and was 46% higher than 2021. So they're expecting that in 2023, Boxing Day, yesterday, traffic and new listings will have been the highest they've ever been, which I'm not going to argue with. I can quite possibly see there's been more new listings than ever yesterday and more traffic than ever yesterday, purely because Rightmove is garnering more and more attention, generally speaking, and they have the biggest portion of the market. So they've got the most eyes on them. But this isn't a reflection of health in the housing market, which is how this is spun and how it's reported on by numerous media outlets. And if we come down, I think I've got a couple more paragraphs just to run through. If you're selling a home in 2024, pricing will be key. That is a big lesson that sellers should have learned from 2023. If you come to market with the so-called test price, trying to get as much as possible, The raw data from Rightmove shows the people that come in at the highest price to start with actually sell for the lowest price overall. The people that are priced more accurately get the better overall price. So you have to price it accurately to begin with if you want the best possible price for your property. Do not test the market. This year, we've seen lower than expected falls in asking prices and good levels of demand from home buyers for the right priced homes. Now, I do disagree with the first part of this sentence, that this year we've seen lower than expected falls in asking prices. Yes, we've seen lower than expected falls in new listing asking prices. But if you go onto Rightmove and you look at existing listings, there are reductions absolutely everywhere. So we've seen a lot of reductions, but Rightmove don't talk about that. They only ever talk about new listing asking prices and good levels of demand from home buyers for the right priced homes. Yes, and I can back that up. When I've seen properties that have come on and have been correctly priced, considering the market conditions, they have sold. So there are definitely buyers out there. They're just being smart and they're being patient and they're not overpaying, or the majority of buyers aren't overpaying. But if you're thinking of selling your home in 2024, it's going to be really important to price it competitively to give yourself the best chance to find a buyer more quickly. Completely agree. Buyers are much more likely to see a choice of homes for sale in the area that suits their needs compared to the stock-starved pandemic years. So we know that the supply of properties has gone up over the past year. And I remember when I was trying to buy in 2022, there was literally nothing for sale. And it's a big, big difference. Now, if you're following your local area, in the majority of areas, there's going to be a lot more choice. Even if you're like me, you still think most of the stuff that's on Rightmove is pretty garbage. So they'll be in a strong position to negotiate and price and take more time to choose the home that's right for them. If a buyer has got multiple properties to choose from, it puts them in the driving position. So what does this Boxing Day bounce actually look like on Rightmove? So what I've got here, this is for Maidstone in Kent. So I used to live near there before I moved. September 2022, I moved and relocated to the country. And if we go through, I've sorted this by newly listed. I'm just going to go to where it says yesterday, as that will be Boxing Day. So this first one here was added today, the 27th. So as of Boxing Day, added yesterday, added yesterday, added yesterday. You notice these are by the same estate agent as well, some of these. So the estate agent has collated these. It's a backlog of listings from the past few weeks they've delayed for putting them on Boxing Day. And we're seeing the same sort of things with reductions as well. So in my area, I was shocked when I went on my area on Boxing Day. There was a few new listings, but there were reductions everywhere. So estate agents this year have clearly been contacting their clients and saying to them, look, if you're a new listing, let's delay you to Boxing Day. And if you're doing a price cut, let's do your price cut on Boxing Day. So there is more supply and there are more properties having their price cut on Boxing Day. Now, from a housing market activity perspective, that's really good, as hopefully it's going to encourage transactions because people have to buy all the way down for house prices to come down. So that is good that there's going to be activity, but don't interpret it that the bottom is in and house prices are going to increase just because there is more activity. A supply increase is hopefully going to suppress house prices further. And if you scroll down, you're just going to see lots of reductions, reduced, added yesterday, reduced yesterday, added yesterday. So there's just so much activity with estate agents. Again, you can see here, Connells, added yesterday, Connells. And it's every single estate agent is doing that. How many is that? 5 or 6 with Connells there. So try not to interpret too much from these headlines that talk about a Boxing Day bounce. This is purely just a backlog of new listings and reductions that really should have happened in the second half of November and in December that have been delayed until Boxing Day, as the estate agents are fully aware that Rightmove has its busiest day on Boxing Day and there are the most eyes and inquiries come in on Boxing Day. So they want to get their properties in front of those sellers. Now, a smart seller would say to their estate agent, don't do it on Boxing Day, do it on the 27th or the 28th, as then I'll be above all of those other listings. That's what I would do. But it's up to you. If you've already done your price drop or your new listing on Boxing Day, then you probably got lost amongst all of the activity, all of the surge of activity on Rightmove that we've seen over the past 24 hours. Now, the article that I showed you, this was published in advance on the 20th of December. But what will happen is Rightmove will roll out this data again in a week or two, probably around the start of January, like they did at the start of 2023. They did a press release on the 5th of January, so I'm expecting the first week of January in 2024, they're going to do a press release as well, talking about how there was a big bounce on Boxing Day and activity is picking up. So if I just read this and then keep an eye out for articles over the next week or two and see if they sound familiar. Boxing Day is traditionally the start of activity ramping up into January and the spring selling season after Christmas as people return to their search or consider a new year move. Yep, fair enough. We've seen some promising activity and familiar patterns over the festive period this year, which are good signs for the year ahead. This Boxing Day, we saw a record number of people choosing to put their homes up for sale, 46% more than the same day in 2021. Tim says that these sellers who got a head start and have their homes already up for sale will now be benefiting from the jump in viewings over the next few weeks as people settle back into their usual routines. And because they talked about it being a record Boxing Day, guess what happened last year? The media outlets such as the Evening Standard, Boxing Day bounce sees rise in sellers putting home on the market. A Boxing Day bounce, I mean, is that a good thing? I think that's what they're trying to say. And if we blow up their text, the housing market experienced a Boxing Day bounce as 2022 drew to a close, with the number of sellers putting homes on the market up by 46% compared with the same day a year earlier, according to Rightmove. So this information will just be parroted by the mainstream media, and Boxing Day bounce will be everywhere, even though if you're looking at it from a logical perspective, an increase in supply is likely to lead to a suppression of house prices more than it will house prices going up. And just to finally visualize this, this is the number of listings on Rightmove. Let me just hide the webcam so you guys can see that fully. We saw that the number of listings on Rightmove have been going up very, very rapidly throughout 2022. And there was a bit of a slowdown at the last month or so of the year as everyone was advised, well, not everyone, but many people were advised by their estate agents to hold off listing their property until Boxing Day. So I think as we go into 2024, we're going to see the number of listings start to climb again, and you can draw your own conclusions as to where you think house prices will go from there. Now, if you want to see where house prices may be going in 2024 and the predictions from all of the major house price indices, I've put together a video covering that. I'm going to pop up that video now, and I'll see you guys over there.